question. You'll have to unmute yourself, Mohammed. You'll have to unmute yourself. You'll have to unmute yourself. We didn't hear that. That interesting comment that you just gave, we didn't hear that. You'll have to say it again. Mohammed, you were saying something.
Yeah.
You said something very interesting, which we missed because you were on mute.
No, I think I would be happy she can continue. I'm listening to her as my teacher, you know.
I'm going to leave you because your conversation is with your audience and ably guided by Vikram. But before I go, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak about something I love.
Perfect. No, really nice. I think it was important, this discussion. And Susana's here. Susana's session is later. Susana, your session is a little later. It's about 1 hour later. And Susana, Amanda, you speak Spanish, don't you? I'm sure you do.
No, Italian.
Okay. Mohammed, you speak Spanish? Because Susana only speaks Spanish. She can only speak Spanish, so it's a bit of a problem. Susana, just to tell you, your session is after 1 hour. How would you say that, Mohammed? I will have to do it on Google Translate.
Un'ora di più. I know that's Italian. Sorry, I'm going.
Okay, maybe because this problem happened, Mohammed. She called me and she was, of course, speaking Spanish and I could not understand, but I did say that it is after 1 hour because she was getting the time wrong. YouTube was giving her the wrong time, it seems. So, Susana, 12 o'clock Argentina time. No problem. You can stay here, no issue. Yep. Yes, Mohammed, you want to just tell us about yourself and just give me 30 seconds to talk about what I have been doing, and then after that we'll go into the session.
Now it's okay. Sorry, it's my turn. No?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, because I was a little bit confused between 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock because then the black time, and then now I fixed it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, actually the first time I'm coming. Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm really delighted to participate with in this forum, if I can call it as such. But it's a forum when we can bring our experiences in the mediations field. I have no long experience like all the people you are interviewing. You know, I have 3 years, I think, in the mediations. But it's special mediation because I am working for the United Nations and I'm working within a special agency which is called UNESCO, concerned by education, information and culture, which is headquartered in France, in Paris. Or before being mediator, because I was elected by my peers, and then that's why I was working as an international civil servant. In the financial services in the organizations. So working in Paris, and then I was working through the world because I was a controller and then auditors, and then I was traveling throughout the world to controlling all the UNESCO programs in its member states. So I worked for more than 6 years. I was fixed in Brazil, taking care of the office in Brasilia and taking care of the region for the Mercosur. Yeah. And then from Brasilia, I went to Africa, in Central Africa, as UNESCO representative for the Central Africa. From then, I was back to Paris, and then I am retired from the International Service Center. And then they called me to come to be the Dean of Mediator of UNESCO. So I'm heading, 3-4 mediators with the Secretariat and taking care of the problems and the mediation between the organization and its stakeholder and shareholders.
That's really nice. But I like this. You said you were chosen by your peers. That's interesting.
Yeah, that is a special. Yeah, it is because. The organizations, we are belonging to a galaxy of United Nations system. And then the mediation have been introduced in the last 25 years in the United Nations system. And the Secretariat of the United Nations asked all the UN agencies to start with creating a mediation services in within their administration. Mm-hmm. So in my organization, they have had a civil servant as a mediator. And then after 5 or 6 years, I think they said, okay, the mediator to be civil servants, to be staff member, it is not really ethic because of the conflicts of interest. Then the member states, by a decision, by a resolution, they decide to, okay, call for a mediator on a volunteer basis. So that's what I came to that situation.
Perfect.
So there you have to be selected by all your colleagues, staff members, the association of the staff members, and then the administration, and they agree on, and they can choose who they want to choose. And they were chosen for the last 3 years. So this is my first experience in the mediations.
I think this is the right way to do it. I think that's the right way, because people have to trust you. They have to know that you can actually do that. That's the most important thing, which is this world mediation, the circle that I'm creating, and circles in countries and communities. This is the concept that let people identify the mediators. Who are we to even tell them? They know very well.
Exactly. I totally agree with you. But then the only thing is we are a little bit, okay, the structure that we have a little bit completely on the side of what is going on the UN system, because the UN system, because we work all together, okay, they have, they are staff members, they have a body, they are participating, and then we will be back to it later. Okay, they say they have code of conduct, they are neutral, they have this, and they have this, and they have this. So, yeah, a big debate. We are debating on all this code of conduct, the mediator in the system are. So we are trying to see what we can do, but we are doing as we can, and we are trying to help our people to work in a good, safe workplace.
Perfect. What I'm going to do is just give me 1 minute to show Susana the Google Translate. Susana, okay. Hola. So your session is at 12 p.m. Argentina time.
Oh, Argentina time.
Yes, which is her session. Susana's session. Susana's session.
I like it,
Okay, no problem. Yes, the other thing that I have to quickly put out is the fact that where information is available on some things that I do, and I of course expect people to find the information rather than social media posts. Of course, you can go to mediatorvikram.com. You'll find some information about various activities and everything. So that's all out there. World Mediation Circle focus area, and I won't take your time, more of your time. So Mohammed, all yours, language and mediation, please.
Okay, thank you very much again. But okay, my English is not so very perfect, because I am Francophone and Arabophone and maybe even Lusophone, so it depends. But okay, we try now. Language and mediations. Yeah, I think since you asked me to participate, I was thinking about this issue. I listened to some of people who spoke before me, and they developed a lot on the language and mediations. But let me tell you something according to what I'm doing. I'm doing in a very special field of mediation. Mediations is in the administration. Okay, I'm not doing the family administration, family mediations. I'm not doing. That's the way. We're working with administration between staff and the administration and those who are concerned with these two parties. So taking care of the dispute, or what we call dispute or conflicts, or the language, that's a different word that are used to deal with the same things. With my colleagues, I am not alone, we are 4 people, working on a conflict or dispute. The first thing we're doing is try to prevent the conflict. First step. Second step, when the conflict is there or the dispute is there, we have to manage it. When they come to you, because the people are free to come to us or not. It is coming, the more and more advisable to pass through the mediator rather than go to the litigations. We are trying to work on that. And third step is when the conflict is there and the management of conflict, and then we have to resolve it. Not yourself, you are only in between. Those who are concerned, those who decided to have the willingness to accept, to resolve it through the mediations, okay, then we start to work with them. And then finally, when you resolve the conflicts, you have to work on restorative situations after the conflict. That sometimes you can resolve the conflicts and then we leave the things like that. But people who was concerned, they maybe they are not, they don't come back and be working friendly in the same workplace if they are in the same workplace, for example. So language, when you get into the mediations, you have to, the mediator has to use, I'm not saying the special language, a language not for himself or for herself, because we are not concerned. Our language is that one who can to be listening by the 2-3 parties concerned by the dispute or by the conflicts, ask for them to understand why they come to us, why they come to the mediator. And the mediator has to forget that he's working for himself or for herself. Sometimes we have to put our sensitivity, our ego, sometimes because when you listen to the subject of the conflict for all the parties, sometimes you can be concerned. We can say, why this is not correct. But this is completely, you have to put it aside, far aside from you, and to listen to the people as you're doing. Listen to me, and then you can talk and see what kind of wording you have to use to let them to come back or to come together, to understand that differences in the conflict or in the dispute, and then start to talk all together. So the language is, I remember so from my studies in the past, the mediation has always existed in the past. From the beginning of humanity, they was negotiating, they were mediating. But for each field of competencies, they have had their own languages. Think about the antique Greece. They were working in all the trading they were doing. They were using the same wording, which has nothing to do with the civil society wording. And they succeeded. For the mediations in the workplace, it's the same. We're trying to see what kind of wording, language, or sentences, or even ideas that can help people to come back to discuss the issue as to come to a suitable resolution of their conflicts. This is very important for us. We have to, sometimes we can be, because some people, when you talk to people, it's not easy, especially when the conflicts and when the situation is so tough between 2 or 3 people. Once again, I'm only working or talking about the workplace. I'm not talking about other mediation because I have no idea, even if I have some. But I'm fixing to what I'm doing with my colleagues. Language is in the history of the humanity. We have many kind of languages. You have the body languages, you have the emotional languages, you have the tough languages to persuade someone, and yes, it depends. But language is a tool that we have to resolve something. Then you have to know how to use that tool to help people to resolve that problem. But for yourself, as I'm telling, forget yourself. You wear something, a new suit for as a mediator, and then forget yourself. And many times you have, if it's possible, you let people to talk themselves. and to summarize exactly what they are doing, and to find out where we can do something for them, as to reorient them, or to remember them that they are working. We have working for the same organization, or for the same services, or for the same department, who knows? And then they have the same goals at the end of the day. It's not so easy, you know. I'm taking some of the cases that I was facing, or I am facing. Yeah, your language, as the former speaker said, sometimes you can hurt some people with your language if you just say something, not brutally, without thinking about it. You can hurt people when they are waiting for you, as they believe that we are the judge. We are not the judge, we are not the lawyer, we are only a mediator. And the language are completely different. And then we're telling them, okay, if you want to hear about the judge, you have to go to the litigations. If you have to know to hear about the lawyer, you have to hire or to pay for a lawyer. Here it's free of charges. We're here to put you all together and keep everything in our organizations and help you to find your solution, because solutions are there. Problems are created, but solutions are with problems. There are no problems without solutions. Especially when you're working in the framework of legislations, of rules and regulations. And then everything is well framed, as for not exaggerating or for getting out of that framework. The language is so it depends. If you're working on a case, for example, which concerns human resource, and you have to see what kind of sensitivity and language to be used for the human resources problems. If you're working on a program of family allowances, for example, you have to use the sensitivity of the wording to get them to fix or to orient people on that issue, for not doing something else than that. Why? It depends of the subject. It depends of the origin of the conflicts. We have to be very, very, very careful on that. Sometimes it can hurt. I have the second year of my life, I remember I was in between people, and one of the complainants, they said, "Oh, no, you are with that lady, not with me." Yeah. I was a little bit, man, what I did, Mohammed, what you did. Was I said something in a more direct. I didn't put, some, let's see, maybe some diplomacy. And then I understood. Instead of resolving the problem in 3 hours, it takes us maybe 9 hours, But finally, we return the situation. It might happen. We are learning. And taking into account what I'm saying, all that kind of tool, that language that we're using, or that wording we are using, case by case, help the mediator to earn some trust in the conflict within the parties. The trust for you, when you get the trust, and then people trust you, then you can start to work more easily. The trust of the complainant, those come to you for mediations. If there is no trust, there will be no solution.
Absolutely. Trust is the most important part. Yeah.
Yeah. The language is, first of all, is how to win the trust of the parties. And that trust, once you solve the problem, or you settle a situation of the first cases or the two cases. So it is a kind of our advertisement, of publicity in the future. Because in administration of almost 2,000 people. It's not so easy, but when you get something good, it's excellent for the mediation.
Yeah.
But trust is essence of everything. And that trust we can win is by choosing our wording, our languages, in terms of all the language, whether it will be scientific or technique or body languages or even smiling. Sometimes you have to say how to smile. And then maybe if you have time, I can give you very practical cases. I don't know if you can accept cases, but it's excellent for me because I learned from this a lot. Because we are working in a system where diversity is very important. When you speak, we are people speaking in French, speaking in English, speaking in Spanish, speaking in Arabic, speaking in Russian, Chinese, and then you have a lot of coming from other culture. And when it comes to the problems, the rules and regulations are written in English and in French, for example. Sometimes there are some interpretations, but the former speaker spoke about interpretations. Yeah, we have to be very, very careful of the interpretations of the rules. Those rules, I dealt with them a long time in my life when I was civil servant. So that's what I was chosen, because I know how to interpret them, how, in which places, in which framework. And then I followed. I was working as the secretary of the administrative commissions for more than 15, 16 years. So with all the 130 member states meeting every 2 years to control the business of the organizations and to adopt other resolutions. So I was aware of how to have everything, and I'm still aware how to work with this special organizations in terms of mediations when the problem is created or raised between some colleagues or between staff and the administration, or between it depends. The conflicts are either transversal, horizontal, or vertical. Depend. And around that, you can find other conflicts, and for each case you have to choose your wording, vocabulary. Well, okay, if I am facing a conflict because of the performance report, so I have the language, the appropriate mediation languages for them.
But with so many different languages that you are, of course, within the UN that you are using, I mean, you're looking at translators doing their work for you, or are you only working with languages that you know? How does that work?
I'm working now in the mediation. I'm working only with the two languages, because people they know we have 6 official languages in all United Nations system. But the working languages are only French and English. Okay, for the day-to-day work in the administration. But for the member states, if they want some documents or the official documents on which we're working, they are produced in 6 languages. The situation, and then all the resolution, as I told you, all the rules and regulation we are following, the framework of rules, are translated in 6 languages. So how the interpretations is so difficult sometimes, but we are so open for discussions and for collections of the information, and then helping people to come to the inside or mediation process as to resolve that problem.
What we'll do is we just say a quick hi to Mikkel. Just the hi. His session is after yours, so just a hi. That's it. We'll come back to Mikkel. So I was just thinking that, of course, you have official languages and then the languages that people are comfortable with because it's their mother tongue. So in those situations, to actually understand a lot of things when they can speak in their mother tongue, Does that option ever come up that you can actually have that them speaking in their mother tongue and I mean understanding what they really want to say?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Well, in some cases, and then see, this is what you call it the referential within us. Each person has its own. You're speaking English or you're speaking French, but you're Indian or I am Moroccan. I'm Arabic. And then okay, but I have some referential from my culture. The culture is also going with the language. Okay, the actions. Languages is not because we're speaking. Language also is all the gesture, movement, body, and how we are thinking, how we were. Or mate, as we said in French, how we were changing different things in our mind. And then you have to talk about it. You have a conflict between a Spanish and Arabic, for example, and then they are working in other places where the English is the official language. They have the problems. Each person is thinking about first of all because they believe they have conflicts, and then one is no, it's him, it's me. So they argue, taking into account their cultural language.
Yep.
Cultural. So to come to bring them on the table to discuss, we have to use their cultural language, local cultural language, the official languages, the rules and the regulations, and then bring them in that way to really phrase everything and to think about how we can find a solution.
So now, only thing that we have 2 minutes. If you want to just a conclusion kind of thing.
Well, let's give you something just for those who are listening to us. It was a problem about sexual harassment. It's a very, very, very tough one. As a mediator, I can't because I don't have the ways and means to take care of this kind of thing. It's very strict. But at least they something has brought to us because one person said to one lady, listen to this, all my colleagues. In the office, the office was open, everything is here. One person said to a lady, can I kiss you? The lady said, no, thank you very much. The guy said, okay, I'm sorry, thank you. And then everything is solved. 1 week after, that person came back and said, okay, such a sir, he was harassing me. You know the problems. And then with the situation as well as okay, I was asked for taking my point of view, which is not my but I asked my colleagues to understand, okay, it's easy to understand, but take care. What we did is, why that guy said to that person, can I kiss you? It was not in the report why, but in investigations, he said to that lady, I can kiss you, because she was, every time her mom was preparing some good things, she was bringing to him something to his office. And then at the end of her contract, she was leaving. He wanted to thank her. You know how to do it. But that she understood at the beginning, but she talked to her people, in the bureau, where they are, or that, and she said, no, it's harassment, go and complain. And then, okay. And then I try to understand, I bring that kind of to the investigation services, and after more than 3-4 months, okay, that problem of harassment has been completely solved, but by no action because of the difference of culture. Can I kiss you in Europe? Is nothing. It's not a harassment. Can I kiss you maybe in certain region in Arab world or in something? It's an harassment.
Yeah. So culture and the context, both the aspects.
Exactly. Thank you very much for that. Yeah.
So I think, Mohammed, will have to just kind of conclude because Mikhail's session time is over. If you want to just anything that you want to conclude on?
No, I'm thanking you very much for the first time, and then I'm happy to be here. And then maybe next time, if I can, because we didn't talk about the problem of the code of conduct of the mediator. The former speaker talked about neutrality, confidentiality, impartiality, and informality, because for us it's very important. Because I'm working with my colleagues in the United Nations system about what we mean by informality. Maybe next time we can talk about it.
These are all very debatable topics. Each of them.
Absolutely.
There was a whole symposium on neutrality and mediation. So there is so much to say. So Mohammed, thank you very much, and you have to participate in future events.
Okay, I will be here on the 21 BMS for sure.
Yeah, perfect. Great.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mohammed. So I'll just stop this recording.